the second day of the sex offender administration. Donald Trump will have more power to hire and fire up to 50,000 career federal employees in an overhaul of the government's civil service system. The overhaul released by the Office of Personnel Management fulfills Trump's campaign pledge to strip job protections from federal workers. Trump is the only federal worker left with protection from consequences. Penn State hockey star Gavin McKenna, a freshman center and the presumptive top pick in this summer's NHL draft, has been charged with felony assault for allegedly breaking a man's jaw and knocking out a tooth in an altercation last weekend. Afterward, McKenna thanked the man he punched on behalf of Penn State and the NHL and said, "I hope I passed the audition." Brad Karp, the longtime chair of one of the nation's premier law firms, has resigned from Paul Weiss amid backlash over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Karp is still with the firm, which is how Epstein and friends liked the girls. A government lawyer, Julie Lee, has been removed from her Justice Department post after telling a judge that her job sucks during a court hearing stemming from the Trump administration's immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota. "I bet it doesn't suck as much as the GOP sucks off Trump." A previously issued nationwide recall on Chips Ahoy Big Bites Brookie is being expanded to include additional pouches of the product. The voluntary recall by Mondelez Global LLC is due to small cornstarch clumps in the product. Consumers can give them to someone that they want to break up with for Valentine's Day. This has been the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for February 6, 2026, the 382nd day of the sex offender administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as over here. Of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are
everything was fine, and now everything.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Gosh darn it!
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Everything's auto-broken around here. I'm going this year. I'm too bright for it. Oh, that's nice and hot. I wrote the ugly. There are things I need to fix in this. The ugly one. Some of the platforms are just Twitch for some reason is not letting me. We'll get to it though. I'll do it, or you know what? Good morning, folks. It's Friday. I can't believe I'm almost through this week. I really can't. I didn't think I was going to make it through this week, and maybe I'm jinxing it to presume that I'm going to make it through today. And that would be this week. But I'm surprised I even made it to Friday. How about that? Today, we have reunited, and it feels so gay. Yes, it does. It's Jackie, the Joke Man Martling, and Johnny Mortarballs Rulo will be joining us. And Jackie has confided with me that he thinks I'm the funniest person he's ever met. So I'm excited to share that with you because Jackie's met a lot of funny people over the years. Yesterday, I'm working with a client who has a membership site, a website where you buy a monthly membership. She wants to give a week free trial It's a common thing, right? Have you've experienced this, haven't? If you've been on this thing called the internet, you probably experienced this. Squarespace, she hired a web designer, and the web designer, I don't hate to, I do hate to. No, I don't hate that. You know what? I'm going to throw this kid right under the fucking bus here, and I shouldn't have said fucking because it's just a bus. It's not fucking. But there's a lot of these web designers who are just using Squarespace and WordPress. That's not a web designer. A web designer is a coder, somebody who understands how it works. So this kid's built her a site in Squarespace, but then can't figure out how to give a free week on a monthly subscription. And it turns out I thought he was lying. And I go through this thing, and all these Squarespace designers, they've been asking for this for like 10 years. Squarespace can't figure out a way to do it. And so I'm thinking there's got to be somebody with experience. I'm trying to help. I'm being helpful. Me, Mr. Helpful. So I go on Facebook, and I said, does anybody know any Squarespace designers? Devs, developers. Not designers, developers. Developer meaning you know the code, you can go in the back end, you can do tweaks on it. Within 5 minutes, literally a 200 plus text. Hey, Matt, I'm your Squarespace guy. Telephone calls. Hey, I'm so-and-so at web studio in Texas. We can do your Squarespace. And they're trying to sell me on a Squarespace. I don't want a Squarespace website. I hate Squarespace. It's for people who don't know how to do websites. Anyway, they're not a sponsor, obviously. If they were, I'd be saying, "Oh, what a great service." No, I would not. You know, I would not. I'm not going to take them on as a sponsor. But thank God I didn't say, "Does anybody know a proctologist?" Because I'd be getting fingers up my ass, like left and right. I wasn't a solicitation. I wanted to know. I wanted to ask one simple question. Is there a simple tweak for giving people a free week on a monthly subscription? That's all. And the problem now is I got to go back to my friend who was about to launch a website, a membership website, and say, you got to build it all over again, either in custom code or something like WordPress, which is also similar to Squarespace, but you can do the things that. But this dude who built it for it, this dude who built it for it, obviously he's advertising himself as a web design firm, and all he does is Squarespace. That you're not a fucking web designer. I'm sorry, or a developer, or any of that kind of stuff. You're a kid who knows Squarespace. Say that. And then promising her that you could get this done, and then to find out 6 months later after you've billed her thousands and thousands of dollars, oh, I can't get it done because there's no simple way. And you see how frustrated I'm getting? Because I have to go fix things that are not connected. But we talk about making America great again. Make America great again. Fuck you. Big problem with America in business, making American business, is a can-do attitude. Find a solution. Just because it's not built into the platform does not mean it can't be done. It means you don't know how to do it. But you find out how to do it. Damn it. You charge thousands of dollars. Now I'm going to have to rebuild this friggin' site for her in basic PHP code. And I'm going to do it on spec because I can't. I can't allow somebody to pay twice for something they should only pay for once. And she's already overpaid this fucking Squarespace douchebag. I'm sorry. I'm mad. So find a way. Be solution-oriented, America. You want to make America great again? Don't say, oh, it can't be done. Can't be done. Just say, I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to find out, and we're going to get this fucking thing done. That's what you say. If you're a pro privity, I should tell you about Wine Express, shouldn't I? Well, I'll save Wine Express for another day. You know what? I will save Wine Express for another day. I'm just going to play a dopey, some other mind blown, expanded psychedelic finishing, psychedelic starting, psychedelic middle show, intermission, psychedelic intermission. Go get your peanuts and popcorn and LSD. Okay.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches, we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now is a man who's never developed a Squarespace site, Ron Kane, and also up in the right-hand corner, my right-hand corner, probably your left-hand corner, no, is a man who is never, dare I say, had the president put him on a meme that makes him look like an ape. Just the most racist thing that ever happened today, but this man has never gone through that. Fortunately, GD Fenderson. Good morning, GD. What am I talking about?
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, just like where the fudge is made. Go to MindDogTV.com/merch for all the stuff that you don't need, but ought to have to make him or her happy. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the stuff.
Weed. Yeah, all the stuff you don't need, and that's it just takes me back to Tommy Chong. Badass weed. Do you have any clue what I'm talking about when I say the ape thing, the Obama ape?
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
How is this guy? Can't you find, even if you're a MAGA douchebag or 100% MAGA douchebag, can't you find somebody who you believe will be tough on the border and I don't know, tough on egg price, whatever the fuck that isn't posting like overtly racist? I mean, over the top, overtly racist stuff. Can you do that?
Well, I mean, if you're justifying pedophilia, I mean, it kind of tracks for the type of person that would post that.
Pedophilia is just the scratching the surface. It's rape, murder, kidnap, torture, and cannibalism. Cannibalism of children. Pedophilia is just a little element in all of that: rape, torture, murder, cannibalism. Yeah, and they're supporting that. Oh, we're fine with that. We don't care. Let's just.
Well, if you're. See, you started off that sentence as if you're MAGA, couldn't you find? The thing is, they're MAGA. Why would they find? They found what they wanted, Trump.
But I'm just saying, can they get? They can. Well, they say they want people tough on the border, and what is the other thing? But can't you find somebody who's tough on the border and whatever, and law and order guy?
But then they wouldn't be MAGA. But then they wouldn't be MAGA. You're saying if you're a Republican, couldn't you find somebody who would be tough on the border and sensible on the economy, or tough on the border and sensible on how to get it done, or something like that? Then you're saying if you're a conservative, couldn't you find? If you're a Republican, couldn't you find? But you're saying you're MAGA. You got what you were looking for.
A lot of them are. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of them. Not all of them are racist. And
no, if you're MAGA, you're racist. That's part of it.
Most of them are, though. I think we could safely say within a 3% margin, 97% are racist.
Wow.
I'm going to say 100% are racist. And if they are MAGA, but they really aren't racist, then they've misidentified themselves. You know, it's like a child who grows up thinking, I'm a little boy. And then he says, wait a minute, I'm a girl trapped in a boy's body. And that's what they are. They're like, wait a minute, I'm a Republican trapped in a MAGA's body. I need to transition.
That should be the bit. Like, I'm a Republican trapped in a pedophile body.
Wow. Damn it, Twitch. Why is Twitch not letting me Twitch? All right, I'm gonna get off of Twitch. Hold on. You guys make love while I
I don't understand this. It says, did every guy on this panel just have a domestic dispute?
Every guy, what? You're laughing through your words, and nobody hears what you're saying.
No, I'm laughing through his words. I'm not laughing through mine.
Does every guy on the planet what?
Does every guy on this panel
just
have a domestic dispute? Did every guy on this panel just have a domestic dispute
with the country or their?
I think just me, right? Who else? You guys didn't fight with your wife recently, did you?
No, I know better.
And if you're new to the show, that happens to Matt every day, so you just got to get used to it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Actually, most of the time, well, I shouldn't say most of the time, but a good percentage of the time, we get along just fine. Whatever. But no, recently, and not today, things are fine today.
I'm just curious, what's a good percentage?
I would say 70-30, maybe 80-20. How about that? What is that? The Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle. That's what it's called. Anyway,
I believe in the 20-60-20 principle, the bell curve.
All right. Why don't you guys make love while I try to fix all these connections that are not being connected? Rumble and Dumble and Twitch. What is wrong with Twitch? Do you know? Is there something wrong with Twitch?
I don't know. So Ron, you did not have your open mic showcase last week. What were they modifying? Were they putting heat in the front for a change?
Well, they might have heat now, because what happened is, apparently, because it's been so cold and stuff, they had a pipe burst inside. Then they had some because of the cold, it also they exposed a roof leak, and they had some water going into some electrical panels and things like that. So that had to be fixed.
Damn.
But they should be open. I think they're going to try and open today. I got to check with Jack to see. But as of right now, I think we're going to have the mic on Monday. Okay,
good, because I need to practice, and I don't want to have to go all the way up to Hanover.
It was still. I thought I fixed Twitch. It was still not on Twitch. Fuck Twitch! Damn it!
Yeah, I got to go up to Laughing Stock tonight. That's where I'm performing tonight. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I'm really upset about all these things we're not on. Well, I shouldn't give a fuck, right? Who gives a fuck? Why should I give a fuck?
I think the people give a fuck. The people give a fuck. The sponsors give a fuck. There's less people exposed to their product ads.
Who are the sponsors again? Oh yeah, psychedelic finishing. What the fuck is psychedelic finishing? Can somebody please explain to me what psychedelic finishing means?
Isn't that when they put mushrooms in your ass just before they give you a happy ending?
That's all right. It seems like wouldn't be effective. You wouldn't really.
If it's not effective, why do they put alcohol in people's butt to get drunk?
Maybe you're just supposed to edge yourself for an hour. Then
who puts alcohol in people's butts? What are you?
No, I'm serious. That is a thing, that there are people who are trying to avoid drinking alcohol to save their liver, so they just have a baster and stick it in their ass.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would get into your bloodstream, but I don't know.
Don't knock it till you try it, or till you know someone who has.
I don't tried it. I honestly, and I've known some hardcore alcoholics in my life.
Well, if they're hardcore, they haven't given up the drinking yet.
Most of them died of liver disease.
It's the ones that have quit drinking, but don't want to give up the high.
I told you last week I had a guy. I shouldn't say. I don't want to. I just met a guy who said he had a rough day. Because I said I had a rough day. He said, "Yeah, I did too." I said, He said, "I spent the day in the hospital." I said, "I hope it wasn't anything too serious." He said, "No, not serious. Just a little tumor on my liver." Oh, okay. That's not too serious. I was caught in traffic. That's a bad day. Anyway,
Mickey wants to know how the fuck are we doing. Mickey Delaney wants to know how the fuck we're doing.
Who wants to know?
Mickey Delaney.
Mickey Delaney. We're doing fucking well.
All right. Are we ready to bring in our panelists?
Go ahead. I'll hit Mortarballs. You hit Jackie the Joke Man. So we bring them both in together. Ready?
Whoa! Wait a minute. You have to say 3, 2, 1 or something, so I know what to do.
I was gonna say a 3, 2, 1.
Oh wait, are we going on 1 or 0?
We're going on 0.
Okay.
All right. Jackie the Joke Man and Johnny Mortarballs Rulo. Actually, this is their you know what? I didn't know these guys. They actually knew each other until I think it was Jackie who said, well, I was talking about Johnny's latest album, and he said, John Rulo from Queens? He sort of, I guess. Yeah. He said, oh, I know him for a long time. And then I asked Rulo. He said, yeah, I've known Jackie forever. Now, people come up to me all the time. It sounds like a bogus thing. Oh, people come up to me all the time. They say, sir,
and say, sir.
No, they don't say that. But they used to on gigs and like,
sir, in 2 weeks.
I know these like open mic level comedians who used to brag about, oh, I know Jackie Martley well. Like, I'm really, and I know he wouldn't even know you if he fucking bumped into you. Like, this is just open, who's maybe met Jackie once, but they brag about him. I've known Rulo for at least 25 years now, and he's never once even mentioned that he was close with Jackie the Joke Man Martley.
Now, here's a question real quick. Did he mention him, but just by a different nickname that he has, and you just didn't recognize it, so you just blew it off?
No,
like, did he say?
Even though I've known John for a long
time, my best friend or something.
Even though I've known John for a long time, we never talk. We hate each other.
Because you didn't know that Jackie called John Mortarballs.
No, I didn't know any of that.
That's what I'm saying. So let's bring.
No, John didn't mention anything to me. He basically, you know what John would say? Why don't you tell me what fucking song we're gonna play? That's because I had this thing when John first came down to the band. He was sitting in as a sub, and I just was in a bitchy mood that night. So I didn't even. He was playing drums, not guitar. He's sitting behind me, and I didn't even tell him what song. Well, I would just start playing the song. And that went on for a couple of years. I never told him what song he was about to start playing. I just counted off like, what are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? That's all John and I spoke about for the last 25 years, really. Anyway, ready? Let's bring them in. 3, 2, 1, 0. Very good. Now, good morning. So,
wow, there I am.
There you are. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
John, how come you never told me you knew Jackie? I had to find out from Jackie.
You never asked me.
I did. I said, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you ever know that? So, yeah. What was you guys, before this, have you communicated a lot over the last 40 years or whatever the hell it's been?
Yeah.
Once or twice, right, John?
Yeah, we met up at the opening of the new My Father's Place, remember?
Oh, yeah. Epi Epstein.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I have to mention...
John and I knew each other back in the studio days.
Yeah, so that was Douglas's
in
studio.
the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you were working for Jeff and Kevin.
So let me get this straight. Jackie was doing he was like an assistant audio engineer or something there, right? And John, right. You were recording for
but not really. I was like the janitor there. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Oh, you were a janitor there?
I was almost like the mascot there, but I was learning stuff. You know, it's the beach in Bayville, so it worked. You know,
your mic is a little low here, Jackie. It's unusually low. I'm just trying to tweak it.
That was somebody's floppy drive accessing the network.
Somebody's floppy drive. All right,
Jackie. I was working next door for Mike. Remember Shopsville Designs next door to the studio? Because that's the construction company.
Wasn't that John somebody?
Mike.
So, if I may,
Mike,
what is the
I don't know.
what is the meaning of mortarball? What is mortarballs connotate? What's that all about?
That does not come from me,
Yeah,
John.
listen,
That was, I think that Kevin told me that was your nickname when you were kids, right?
no.
Oh, we got
You
a fight
worked-
going on.
You were at the studio at Jeff's place. I was answering the phones next door at Shopstall's, Mike Shopstall's place, the construction company. And then they got this job. They had to build an auto parts store in Flushing burned down, and they got the gig of building it up again. And they hired you and me to help. And remember, we were mixing mortar and putting a wall up, and we just started flinging the shit at each other.
Oh God! Those were the days when I always was gigging the night before, so the days were kind of a fog. So how did I wind up working there? Just knew each other from me being next door at the studio?
Well, I used to come into the studio. Everybody knew each other. We were right next door to each other, and we all needed to make money somehow. So Mike had this big job, and he needed to hire a bunch of people. So he hired you. He hired me. And I don't know how that building is still standing.
Have you guys ever played music together?
It's unbelievable.
No.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I mean, I used to come watch you with the off-hour rockers, right at Epi's place.
See, before we all die, I want to make this happen once. Like maybe this summer, like I'll try to get a gig in Freeport, an acoustic gig, and have both you guys come down and at least sit in on a song or something. Jackie, do you ever? I know you have guitars on your walls. Do you ever take those guitars? Do you ever play now? Ever since the days of the off?
Recently, my ex-wife is making an album, and she got me and my girlfriend singing on it, and something spurred me on, so I got out both of my acoustic guitars, and I'm sitting right here by the door because we got the name of a guy who takes guitars and brings them up to snuff. That Kevin John knows Kevin, and everybody goes to this guy. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take I got two old Ovations, but the battery inside, and I don't want to with that battery inside. They're probably corroded. I got them all ready to go. I'm gonna get them fixed up and play my guitar. I broke my hand last week, so
damn.
Look at that! What a mother.
What? Whoa!
I went to move a garbage can, and the snow was like 2 feet thick. And I went to fall, but I put my hand out because it was 2 feet of snow. But the snow was so fine, it was like it wasn't even there. And so I broke the fall with my hand, and I broke my hand on the fall. So
wow.
So I got another 2 weeks, and it's here after all these years, I'm ready to play the guitar. Let's break a hand. Let's fuck them up.
You mentioned
God's telling me nobody
John,
needs my music. Go ahead.
Do you ever play a round back ovation, Johnny?
Yeah. It was horrible. It was horrible.
I thought so too. The funny thing is, GD and I were talking about ovations a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I never see anybody playing those anymore. And although they sounded good, there was nothing really special about that round back that made it sound any better than any other guitar. It was a decent professional guitar, but I haven't seen people playing them in a good 30 years. And I was like, are they out of business or what? I go on Facebook, and there's Jesse Wells playing a brand new ovation. I was like, what the fuck?
Everybody plays those damn things, That's what I have. I got two of them.
I think they were one of the first.
One of them is
They were one of the first acoustic electric guitars.
Yeah, that's definitely true. They had the Fishman audio built in, and
I used to have the one with the big belly in the back, and like it would always slip, Yeah. And then I ended up getting the slim line, which I still have sitting over here somewhere, but I just use that around the house to fool around with. I haven't played that out in a long, long, long time.
Jackie, thank you for sharing stringtheorymovie.com. Johnny, I don't know if I told you about this. A guy who used to open for Jackie, actually, Randy Levin, a comedian, and Jared. What's Jared's last name? GD
Bellucci.
Yeah, Bellucci. I'm sorry. They put together a movie called stringtheorymovie.com. String Theory Movie, and
String Theory Movie Guitar Obsessed.
Yeah, it's basically the idea behind this is like a little bit of a sort of conspiracy theory that when COVID hit, everybody started doing Zoom calls and stuff, and would have a guitar placed behind them for credibility or just to make themselves look cool. So check out that movie, stringtheorymovie.com. Thank you for sharing that. And I got a message from Randy that we have done some good by sharing that with people. So please do check that out and tell your friends who love guitar.
String Theory?
Yeah, I
String
thought
Theory
pretty
Guitar
interesting.
Obsessed. Oh, go ahead, Jackie. Sorry.
I don't remember that guy. I don't know him. I'm sure I ran into him somewhere along the way, but he was very nice. And the movie, I thought I'd look at it for a second and see what it looked like, and I wound up watching the whole thing.
It's only an hour and 6
kind
minutes.
of fun.
So it is.
It's goofy. It's goofy.
It's funny you say you don't remember him because I tell you, I'm not kidding when I say on the Rockin' 45 gigs, a lot of times people would come up to me. Oh, I saw Jackie on your show. I know him well, and then I know they never. You wouldn't know them if you.
No, but a lot of people. I run into like we're all old. I've run into so many people, so there really are a billion people out there I know. But some people you just don't remember that well.
Yeah, but it's also
I don't know if I told you. I told you.
Once you get like an ounce of fame, people want to attach themselves to you, and always. Yeah, I might have run into him 40 years ago on the local comedy circuit scene, but all of a sudden we're best friends type of thing because you're famous or whatever. You have a degree of fame, and they never did. So all of a sudden they have to tell me how they were this close with you. I was like, if I bring up your name.
Well, that's what I did. That's what I did with Mortarballs Rillo.
Yeah.
So Jackie, when
don't you remember that story that when they did the stop me if I told this 20 times, but had the big party for Grown Ups 2, the movie, and I knew all those guys. I knew Kevin James and Chris Rock and David Spade and all the people in that movie. And the only one I didn't know was Adam Sandler. And they had this big party at PJ Clark's. And I said, oh, I got to go say hello. And I went over and said, hey, Adam, it's nice to meet you. I never met you before. And he said, Jackie, I opened up for you in the 80s.
The
one guy
right?
that I... No, some stupid little bar room. Before the East Side, we used to do all these little barroom gigs. And actually, I kept booking them to make money after the East Side, but it wasn't the East Side. He said it was just some little barroom, and I must have not thought he was good or I was drunk. I don't remember, but of all the people to not remember, what a fucking idiot I am,
So yeah, Jackie, I'm just curious when you come across people that because you've been doing this for a long time and you have a lot of fans. When people recognize you, and for some reason, a legitimate reason that you should know them, but you don't remember them, do you feel bad that you don't remember them? Or do you just like, hey, it's just too many people, I can't remember everybody?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm at the point where I'm old. I just say, look, forgive me. Like, some people text you, name isn't in your phone. So all that comes up is a phone number. Hey, Jackie, nice to hear from you. And it's like, excuse me, I'm old, but I don't have any idea who the fuck you are. But,
Being old is a great excuse.
Right.
But I think I told you this when it happened, that Sandler was on Joe Rogan.
Waterballs, how old are you? You're not that old, right? What are you, 60? John?
73.
73.
Oh, you're still a kid.
No, okay. Where were you? How old are you now?
This Saturday, I'm going to be 78.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 weeks.
St. Patrick's, St. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. When Sandler was on Rogan, he was talking about his start at the getting started, and he mentioned East Side Comedy Club, and he was naming all the people that were prominent there who he used to work with, and he talked about Richie Minervini and you and everybody who was part of that scene. So I that was out there, and I thought, well, that's where he knew you from. So that was a couple of years ago. He was on Rogan, but
oh wow, I don't think I worked there with him, but he not him. Well, what's his face? Judd Apatow was a dishwasher there.
Wow.
And when it first opened,
Was he Long Island? He's a Long Islander. He's from Long Island. Wow. I didn't.
Yeah, and I think his mother was working at the East Side Comedy Club. Had a branch out in the Hamptons for just a little while, and I think he used to go out there. I don't know. His book was very interesting, because when I met him at the Friars at the screening for that movie, The Comedian, with De Niro in it, I went up to say hello and everything. Yeah, I was a dishwasher at the East Side Comedy Club. I said, was I nice to you? He said, oh, yeah, you were always really great to me. I said, oosh. Not like you never got me a gig in a movie. I was always really nice to everybody, but that's nice
Not
when
me.
you run to people and say, oh, you were so good,
You were never nice to me. You were
prick.
never nice to me, except that one time you told me I was the funniest person you ever met, which is maybe I imagine that. But anyway,
no, I think I was talking to GD. I think.
Yeah, probably.
No.
Hey,
okay, Jackie. I'm curious.
Do we have a delay? We've never had a delay before. Why would we have a delay?
And there are problems with your microphone, but it looks you look like you're doing a little bit of a Godzilla movie there, just a little bit. But I think the rest of us are fine. It's you that has a delay. You're delayed.
Jackie, I'm curious. Who's the funniest person that you know who's not a comedian?
We wouldn't know them.
No, he may know a friend who's like really, really funny, but he's not a comedian.
Yeah, John Rula.
All my friends are very funny. All my friends, my sister's one of the funniest people. My niece is one of the funniest people. Kevin Kelly, my sister's husband, that John knows. Well, they're all funny, or you wouldn't hang with them. There's nobody that's like, they walk in the room and you go, oh, now the party starts. No, none of that. Those days have sailed.
Yeah,
Jackie, you remember or still talk to Dennis Blair?
Here and there. I saw him last year. I got a good friend that he actually just started a talk show out there last year. Just out in Goof, and it's working out for him. But me and him went out with Dennis and Peggy, went out to dinner, and drop a text here and there when something interesting happens or something weird, or something happens to spring a memory. Because we go way back with. That was a whole weird. How well did you know him? Pretty well. Did you know when he was a songwriter with?
Yeah, Dennis and I played in the same band in the probably early 70s, and he was always really funny. He used to crack us up all the time, and I used to say to him, "You should try stand-up comedy." And I remember one night we went back to my apartment and we were working on some bits. And then he went and auditioned at Dangerfields and got a gig there. Then became Rodney's writer.
He they used to come into the studio. Him and John Durkin won the American Song Festival, and they came in to do a demo, a 3-song demo at the studio. So they were there for like a couple weeks, and we all got to know each other pretty well. And like you say, he was so fucking funny. And I was just starting to fool around with going on and doing comedy. And I said to him, Jesus Christ, Blair, I'm making it a go trying to make a go of it as a comic. I said, you're so funny. Same thing. I said, you should really do this. And then when he came into the workshop and he said, hey, Jackie, I went on at Dangerfields last night. I had a couple of rum and cokes, and then just went on my thing, and I got a lot of laughs. And then he went to the moon.
Yeah.
He was a guy came up to me at a party a couple of weeks ago and said that he used to play in a band in high school with Dennis Blair. And what the hell? And he told me his name. And
was it Pete Saladino?
He's pretty popular. He's not popular, but his brother has a really great band. And now I'm not going to be able to think of him. It's like Duke. I forget, but they were really great. And but he said the name too. And this is a couple of weeks ago. I would never think that I would have run into you, but Blair, you know what? I wonder if I could find it.
Is he still
the guy was very interesting, and his brother's band. The guy's like 6'6" and wears a cowboy, and and they really they play at all these pop parties that I go to.
Blair Dennis just did a gig opening for Barry Manilow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, I have the jokeland.com and the wine joke line. I can't even see what is it. 922 wine 516. Now, were you when you guys knew each other in Douglaston? Were you doing the joke line, or no? That came later.
No, I wasn't officially a comedian until I call officially a comedian. I left the workshop like in, I think, the summer of '78 or maybe late '78, and then I started doing. So I don't. You know what? That's a good question. No, I don't. I think I had the workshop. Let me just. It was like sitting with Vincent Casey. Does that ring a bell? Vincent Casey.
No.
And his brother is Gene Tracy and the Loan Sharks.
The Loan Sharks.
Oh yeah, those guys I know.
Yeah.
And he said, "Do you ever meet Dennis Blair?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "My cousin played in a band with him at Holy Cross."
Oh.
Yeah,
Holy
we
Cross.
played with the Loan Sharks at on the Mile at E.B. Elliott's many years ago.
They're great, right? The guy's like 6'6".
Yeah.
He's 6'6". He's huge.
Yeah.
But they were great. Well, that all means nothing.
Yep.
You know,
how's your new
every time you go out
coming
talking
along?
to somebody.
How's it coming along?
Yeah, how's it going?
I don't know. It's
no. Well, let me bring up John, because John has two different YouTube channels where albums are. He has one that is John Rulo's channel that is his, that he owns. It's John Rulo Artist. And then there's another one that CD Baby put up there, and John Rulo Topic.
Right.
So both of those are in the description. I have, I was going to play a song, and we'll get to that in a moment. But so John, you were in a band in Simon Douglaston, Queens when you first met Jackie. You were already part of the.
I did. I recorded at Kevin's place a lot of times. In fact, once I did a demo with Dennis. Dennis came in with me and sang back up and played a few instruments.
Wow!
And then remember the band I had, Johnny Castro and the Convertibles?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a record at Kevin's place.
You know what? I'm thinking about this because you mentioned Johnny Castro and the Convertibles. This is how fast bands come and go, because the Cocktails weren't a thing then, and the Cocktails had a complete run lifespan of like 15, 16 years, and then are gone already.
Right.
Because the other day yesterday, I had an author on, and we were talking. She's been a romance novel series about the rock scene in the 70s, New York area club scene, rock and roll and all this stuff. And I was talking about how we saw MTV come revolutionize the world and gone.
Right.
And it's just like weird how we're that old, innovations have happened, the world has changed, come and gone and over with. It's very weird.
Yep.
Yeah. But So
I was going to ask if I can't believe CD Baby is still happening.
Yeah. I had a guy on Wednesday night. His name is Steve Skax. He's a punk rock guy, a producer with a couple of studios, one in Philadelphia, one in Nashville area. And he was saying CD Baby is still the best way for distributors or independent distributors to do things. He's a distro kid, which I use. He said is garbage. Anybody who's doing anything real as an independent musician should be on CD Baby. I'm shocked by that. I didn't even, they stopped doing CDs. The CD Baby stopped doing CDs. They're only digital.
I mean, CD Baby, they just kept the name, but as far as getting all your stuff out to all the streaming sites, they're pretty good at it. And I don't do what I do for money, but I get surprised every quarter. I get $100, $125, So somebody's listening to it somewhere.
That's a lot of people.
Is that from CD Baby?
Yeah.
Is that from CD, that money?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of money to make on it. I mean, you make cents every,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't want to try to do the math here and get out a calculator, but that's really at least over 100,000 views before you get like $115 out of it. So, that's just estimated, man. It's probably much more than that. So good, man. People are hearing your music. That's a very good. That's why you do it. Nobody puts out anything, whether it's comedy, books, music, for nobody to listen to it. The whole purpose is to get people to enjoy it. So that's good for you.
I have to mention this. Your anniversary. It's your 2-year anniversary today. Being friends with Art Justicia, man.
Wow.
Well, but anyway.
Yeah, I said that.
Art's significant other, Kathleen, is such a big fan of yours, Jackie. Oh, where did he go?
Yeah.
You can't mention her name without, and he won't stick around. Every time you mention her name, he disappears. You shouldn't have done it. Next time, give her a code name or something.
He's refreshing his iPad or something. He's having some. Jackie is known for having technical difficulties when he comes on with us. I wanted to play one of the songs while he's missing in action and refreshing. I want to play. Oh, he's back in somewhere, right? CD, you see him somewhere down there on the bottom?
Yeah, I see him now. Yeah. Bring him in.
Yeah, you can bring him in, but I want to play one of John's songs. It's a quickie. It's a 3-minute song. It's off of his website. It's called "Down the Road." It's a very cool song. How old is this song, John? When did this come out?
How many times? I think I wrote that probably a year or two ago.
Wow. All right. So here it is.
How many times have we been down this road? How many times have you said you lost your faith in me? How many times have the walls come closing in? Sometimes I have to wonder who it is you see. How things can change from day to day in this futile game we play. It's just the way of the world. We used to think that we could rise above it. We frowned upon it, yet we seem to love it. It's just the way of the world. It pulls you in before you realize it, and drags you down, yet everybody buys it. How many times have we been down this road? Tired of living lives of mediocrity. How many times must we be redeemed? Looked upon the people who we used to be. How things can change from day to day in this futile game we play. It's just the way of the world. We used to think that we could rise above it. We frowned upon it, yet we seem to love it. It's just the way of the world. It pulls you in before you realize it, and drags you down, yet everybody buys it.
Is that a pedal steel in there, I hear? Or is that what that is?
Yeah.
Now, did you put, is that AI, or did you go out and hire pedals?
I put that together with my AI band.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
There's somewhere out there, there's a band called the AI Band.
The AI
right
band.
now.
That's it.
Yeah.
The AI band. Yeah.
I don't know. You should call them the convertibles and see what happens there. See if anybody gets angry. We lost Jackie again. He's restarting. A very cool sound, but though that's not the AI vocals. That's your real vocals, right?
Yeah, that's me singing, but it's enhanced.
It has some effects on it. Now, who's the kid in the picture?
Me.
Yeah.
I assumed it was you, but you know, I don't know how many kids you may have fathered in and out of.
No, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very, very cool stuff there.
So, now, do you still have your ponytail?
No, I just cut it. I just cut it off.
Wow.
When?
Like
today?
Last Friday.
I just cut mine off.
Last time you were on the air, you did have it. You just didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm asking because last time you were on the air, there was a picture that was posted on the show, and it showed all this hair that you had, and the person, but because you had to pull it back, they wanted to know if you lost the hair, if you still had it.
I just cut it because I got sick of untangling it constantly and tying it back, and it's like I said, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, I just cut my ponytail off. It was what, 1982, something like that. Yeah, 1982.
You know, I feel like a burden's been lifted off me. I got rid of the band. I got rid of the ponytail. I feel like freedom.
Now, you just cut the ponytail. So are you still using the old amount of shampoo in the shower to wash your hair, or have you like?
Oh, I've lessened the shampoo, and I don't use the conditioner anymore.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
I remember that so clearly. I had a ponytail my whole first year in comedy, which was ridiculous because with the guitar and the pony, you know, people right away whether or not they like you. And if you walk up a ponytail, already half the people don't like. But I remember it was like being released from some kind, like you said, John, like a kind of burden. Like you get out of the shower and your hair is dry. You know,
right,
you go on with your life. It was like, wow.
Mine beads up like it's all whacked. Like a car that has just been simonized or something. That's what my head looks like. It's got little beads of
anyway, before I was mentioning something and you ran away, Jackie, my sister-in-law, Kathleen,
and my fucking computer.
Big fan, loves you. You sent her a whole bunch of stuff a few years ago, and she wanted me to mention that to you. So there you go.
So basically, she's mentally.
She's a groupie. She's a Jackie groupie.
She's mentally impaired, in other words.
Your sister, your cousin.
My sister-in-law.
You see your cousin, your daughter, your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
She
Jackie, something wrong with your mic or something. Very low volume compared to everybody else. I don't know why. I tried to adjust it on this end. I don't know if you have.
You know, I got to give up on this. Is that any better?
No.
You know, I got a new iPhone, and I went to Optimum, and ever since my trip to Optimum, nothing works. I'm just surprised that I'm even on the internet. I'm so pissed off. They were supposed to come over and do fiber optics, and explain to the guy completely the whole deal, and he said fine. And then the guy shows up to do it, and he says, I can't do this here. I'm like, well, I told the fucking salesman. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I get so frustrated with these people. You know, it's not like you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I got a problem. You know, you're talking to Jose in India, you know.
Right.
Jose in India.
I'm in Bayville.
How did Jose get from Mexico to India? That's what I want to know.
He was deported.
He got deported like everybody else.
Yeah. Well, it almost happened to me, so I can feel his pain. It would have been Matt in Ecuador or something, or Honduras.
So, John, just for your edification, Ann in California says about this song, wow, I like that. Bravo.
Oh, thank you.
Johnny, bravo.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to chime in. Yeah, no, it sounded great. What I heard of it was great. But I got thrown off a year. That wasn't a review. I didn't go take a leak when your song started. You know.
Yeah. So, how much material do you have out there, John? Like, I would think, since if you've been doing this since the early '70s or mid '70s or something, you probably have 50 albums out, right? Or no?
You know, I have about 200 songs, all fully produced, and I'm just waiting to put them out like every couple of months or something. I don't want to put them all out at once.
My best material got lost in the perfect storm. 2-inch tapes under like salt water and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I had lots and lots, and we did an album for CBS right before that, and like we were waiting for distribution and stuff, and the master 2-inch tape, and the thing had been mixed down and all, but the master 2-inch tapes got just like devastated, but underneath water in my basement.
Wow.
Like 8 feet of
freezing cold. Hold on, because we had that horrible storm in 1992 or whatever it was. And our basement completely filled with water, and everything in the basement. And I had probably 20 or 30 reel-to-reel, 1/4-inch tapes, all masters of different stuff. And over the course of the work in the studio, every time we did a bit or a song parody or something great, Scott, the engineer, used to give me a copy on reel-to-reel, and I had 12 reels of all the Stern bits in absolute best possible format, and it filled up with water, and it fucking broke my heart, and everything went into the dumpster. And then I got a friend, Tom Rulo. He told me, Jackie, you fucked up. You could have just washed those tapes off, and they would have been like new. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, well, I assumed
that the salt water absolutely destroyed them. They're like, no, those tapes are wound so tight that the water don't get in.
Jackie, I had 2-inch masters up in my parents' attic for like 40 years, and they baked, they crisp, anyway. And I think I put something out on Facebook that I showed these tapes that I found, and they were, ready for the garbage. And some guy said, listen, I could save those. They bake them. There's a process where they bake them, and they can bring them back to life.
I feel like an idiot.
Kevin Kelly does that. Kevin actually has an actual little
oven,
a little one of those little small ovens that he uses specifically for that.
Wow.
Because I got so much shit here. I'm sure it's all they're all bookmarks by now, but every once in a while I take one down and ask somebody to fix, to convert it, and they, knock on wood, so far they've all converted fine. So who knows,
Wow.
It's
That
never
October,
never as good as you remember,
it was the Halloween storm of '92. It's a perfect storm, the one that George Clooney made the movie about. I was living on the South Shore in Lindenhurst, and I had a studio in my basement. And I remember going out to get the mail and looking down the block and seeing the boats that are in the canal were above the street. And I was like, well, that's strange. And there was just a little trickle of puddle coming down the block. And I thought, well, it was a sunny day. I wasn't thinking much about it. And then all of a sudden I heard on the news that we should expect floods. I had a sump pump that came when I got the house. And I had that running. I'm like, I'm not gonna let this affect my. And people say, nah, you gotta clean out the studio, get it all up on the third floor, whatever. And I was like, nah, I got a sump pump down there. And so every hour on the hour, I was getting up to check that the sump pump was working. It was dry down there. And like 3 o'clock in the morning, I went down and it was still dry. Sump pump was working. And I hear a little trickle of water at my back door. And I see there's like water coming down from the top of the back door in another room. I was like, wow, that's a little strange. And I look out the window and I see that there's leaves piled up against. And stupid me, I went out through my, I went upstairs, went around and came down. And now I'm standing in like 3 feet of Atlantic Ocean, very cold water. And I'm clearing the leaves away for some reason. Like the water just came and gushed, blew the door off the hinges, blew me into the studio with it. And before I knew it, I was standing in 5 feet of water in my basement, and there were fish swimming around me. And I'm like trying to grab electrical wires, and you see a blue spark going across, and I'm screaming like a Frankenstein movie or something. And then before you know it, everything
was so frightening.
Yeah,
it was so frightening. Oh my God, what a mess! Holy shit!
But I threw out,
scary.
I threw out easily 300 songs, the mastered songs and stuff, because I thought they were damaged, and now I'm kicking myself.
I'm glad I heard all this from you guys. Now I know not to throw mine out.
Think twice. I just right in the garbage. I could see the pile, and like those 12 reels of those Stern bits. I mean, the pristine quality. They would have been amazing. And this is, I think this was before the days of digital, so there weren't digital copies of it or anything like that.
Yeah, it was just starting.
Yet,
digital, it was just starting 92. Like people were just starting to digitize stuff. There was some basic interfaces for computer recording and all that stuff, but it was not where it is, obviously, today. I got to ask. Jackie, I got to ask you about something. It happened after you left the Stern Show, but I just want to get your impression of would something like this be set up or it's just impromptu? The Fart Man.
First of all, I'm going to be at McGuire's March 6th, Friday night, March 6th.
Right.
At McGuire's out in
a month from
Bohemia
today
with Peter Bales. Yeah, but I like to mention it just in case people. So many people. I don't know about you guys. You see somebody. Oh, why didn't you tell me you were working on Long Island? Well, it's I've been telling people for 50 years. Just look on Joanne.com if you'd at least been interested.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You didn't tell me. Nobody tells me. So I mention it wherever I can. So fuck them. Now, what are you talking about, Fart Man?
Yeah, I want to ask you about, because somebody shared the reel from Fart Man, a little video of it, and he comes down I am Fart Man, and then he's got his ass right in front of Eminem's face, and Eminem's reaction was just like, and I'm like, did he know that was coming? Or would Howard Stern just like fucking spring that on him? What do you think about that? I know you weren't there for it, but do you think that was set
I don't know what you're talking about.
One of the award shows, Howard comes flying down. I think it was the Grammys or American Music Awards. I am Fart Man. He's on a wire and stuff, and then he gets stuck.
Yeah,
and he's right.
That was Luke Perry. It was. It wasn't Eminem. It was Luke Perry. Oh, maybe Luke Perry was the one in the movie, because they recreated that in the movie Private Parts.
Oh, so you
were
were
what do you
there?
mean was it set up? Yeah, but what do you mean? Was it set up?
Well, I mean, did Eminem know about? Because Eminem, he didn't fucking. If somebody stuck their face in their ass in my face and started farting away, I'd be punching. He just went, and I was like, that's not the response I would give. Somebody did that to me.
I don't. Are you sure it was Eminem? I don't.
Yeah.
You know, anything like that would have. That was a whole big deal to have him fly in, because it wasn't like the circus where these people had any idea what they were doing. It's a miracle he didn't fall or get killed. So that whole thing was so, I don't know who knew about it and who didn't, but very, very little is something like that can be spontaneous. He's got to know what's happening. But I don't remember. I can't believe you brought this up, because I go through this stuff once in a while. And right here, I have the actual. This is the words from the very first Fart Man we ever did on the radio. This happened to have come across it. I am Fart Man, and it's like 8 pages of this. I would read this. It's August 1st, 1989. And it's and it's just ridiculous, pompous shit. It was funny, but then the National Lampoon got all bent out of shape because supposedly they invented that idea. But that's one of those things. Like Fart Man is, to me that sounds generic. So it's like it was my idea to do jokes about Star Wars. Relax.
Right.
But it was funny, it was funny.
It's so rude to do to somebody and not let them know that was, especially live TV and all that stuff. And Eminem's reaction was just so nonchalant. Like, I'm a little annoyed with that. Like, rather than I would be punching the guy in the balls or something.
They weren't farts. Those were sound effects.
Still, this guy's ass is in your face. But it's rude. It's rude. If you don't know it's coming, if you know it's coming, then you can see that all right. That and this. Just curious about that stuff. I want to move on to the Epstein
Matt,
files.
something tells me that you don't know the beauty of a Dutch oven, so I don't think we can be friends. I don't think we can be friends anymore.
I'm sure that was totally planned. Right. Because
let's move on to the Epstein files. Are we all in the Epstein files because of you? Because, first of all, somebody is breaking your balls on Twitter about you being more involved in this. I know the email stuff has got you in the Epstein files, but are we all in there because of you? Are you like a typhoid, Epstein typhoid Mary for us? So you brought us all into your little, because we were all in emails with you. They rated your emails and part of the Epstein files.
No, what happened was, and more, I'm getting more and more people are sent to me. Like I got invited to go to dinner at his house, and when they were putting that dinner together, whoever was organizing it, I just got an email like a couple of days ago. Somebody, I think they even put it on Twitter. Here's the list of people we have so far. Besides Woody and Sunyi and you probably being Jeffrey Epstein, we have Bobby Slayton and his wife, and Nick DiPaolo and Jackie Martling, and we're still waiting to hear back from somebody, I forget. And it was interesting. And then there was another one that confirmed it, but then later on, I wanted to get together, and me and Jeffrey went back and forth a bunch of times, trying to put together a date for me to come in there and have dinner with him. So those were a couple emails. But somewhere along the line, he wound up on the Jokeland email list, which had about 25,000 people on it. And the guy loved jokes. That's why I went to have dinner with him. That was the whole, I didn't know anything about women or any of that crazy shit. That wasn't part of it. Bobby Slayton had told me the guy got in trouble in Florida with young girls, but everybody that went to Florida, fucked around with girls. They look 30 and they're 25,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so,
25 is one thing.
Right.
He would need 3 girls to hit 25.
No,
Right.
but none of us knew that. I had no idea of any of that. And he wasn't in trouble. This was 2015. So before the shit came back again and slammed him. But I don't know at what point he got on the Jokeland email list, but I would send like 8 or 10 or 12 pages of filthy jokes to 25,000 people every month. So depending on how long he had been on the email list, he got all those every month for a long time. And it was funny because all those, I would have a page. I said, and I want to thank Mark Simone and Fugelsang and Jim Kerr for putting me on the radio and promoting me. I put that in my emails just to say thank you. So their names are all in there too. But I just imagine a guy who's going through all these Jeffrey Epstein emails, and all of a sudden he hits an oasis of 10 pages of filthy jokes. It must be a hoot for them. But people, oh, Jackie, when did you start sending improper jokes to Jeffrey Epstein, and how many? They just assumed that I was in on the whole thing with the girls, which of course I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, anybody who had any contact with him ever in his life is now suspect in some way or tarnished in some way, and that's what happens when there's an evil guy like that walking around on the planet. But there have been people who have really, and you don't respond to them, but they're trying to drag you into that whole world on Twitter and just on your own posts. I've seen this on things that you posted about the gigs and jokes and stuff, and they're just coming back trying to drag you into it, and you don't respond. And I just wanted to be clear about that. You never went to Epstein Island.
No, I would have. Let me see if anybody.
This was about a week ago where I saw
this is brand new. This is brand new, bro. Your jokes, Epstein files were fucking terrible.
Wow.
Which number one is not true because they're all fucking great. There's a rule that you're not allowed to say anything nice to anybody on Twitter.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Now you are. Let me get this straight about this joke. But all the things that you wrote, the lines that you fed to Howard, you're putting them together in a book. Is that? Do I have that correct?
I'm not. I have all these. I used to write notes during the show, and when we have a celebrity, I did this for however long, couple weeks until we got caught. Me and Grillo. Like if Geraldo Rivera is sitting there and I'm writing all these insults, and I take the funniest thing that I had written about him that Howard had said on the air and get Grillo to have them autograph it. And I've got like over 100 of those, funny lines from the show signed by the people that the lines were aimed at. And it's the most eclectic, you could not make up group in a million years. Barbara Streisand's sister, Adam West, Vanilla Ice, John Wayne Bobbitt, Al Michaels, Clarence Clemens, Tom Jones, Tiny Tim. You could not make up at random. Fucking AI not pull this list out. Roger Daltrey, Tom
6
Arnold,
degrees of Jackie Martling is what
right.
And I'm thinking of making, where I wrote on one side, and on the other side of the page, just a paragraph or two about what happened and something about them, and it was something funny about everybody, So wow. I don't know, I haven't done it yet, but it'd be a great coffee table book,
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm certain there are still there's still so much fanboyism out there for that period of morning radio and the things that you guys were doing, and it's surprising to me that it's still, because I watch Opie's feed all the time, and people are just still obsessed with 90s morning radio stuff, like what was going on then. And we were talking about
it's pretty weird. I would never have expected that. I mean, I literally get emails from fans that weren't born when I left the show.
Wow.
And
yeah,
they write, oh, I saw it. Yeah, I'm sure I told you this. Like, Rulo, this is a great story. I got a text from a kid. It was like 2010 or something. He said, Jackie, I'm a big fan. I got to tell you, I live in Toronto, and I just discovered the Stern Show like a year ago. And it right away became my favorite thing. But then I found out that they had old shows on YouTube. Went back and looked at some of the old shows from the 90s. And he said it was like having a new favorite band and then finding out that their older albums were much better. How's that for what a great compliment. Wow. I think that was terrific, you know.
Somebody compared you to the Beatles the other day. I said, no, they're more like the Archies, and Jackie was Veronica. Because I'm not allowed to say.
They broke my balls because I called us the Beatles of radio, and they harassed me. And then it turned out that we really were. And then, of course, that became, you know, a given thing. And like, yeah, Jackie coined that, like Helly did, you know, like, you know, I'd think of something to get done, you know, like I coined the term whack pack. And then after a couple of years, you say, yeah, well, you know, that was, I have the note with that when I first wrote that from a million years ago. And all of a sudden, you know, the Robin Quivers, oh, yeah, right. It was you, sure. I wrote everything. Fuck you, you whore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, but there is still so much, and people trying to reproduce that. And now, of course, podcasting is as the thing for comedians. It's going to sound like I'm being negative here, and I'm not. Last time you were on the program, I brought up Bert Kreischer being a terrible liar. And you said, I'm not going to say anything bad about the guy. And I was like, I'm not saying anything bad about this guy. It's just a matter of fact. This week, he was on Shannon Sharp's, Bert, your friend Bert Kreischer, was on Shannon Sharp's podcast. And Shannon Sharp said, you lost everything, and you had to recover from that. And it didn't happen. Never happened. He never lost everything. It's just, and Bert, he didn't even bat an eye. He started inventing. Instead of embarrassing Sharon Sharp and saying that never happened, I don't know what you're talking about, he just starts going into this story about how he had to call his father and say I'm broke, and his father was laughing hysterical at him. 2 days later, Bert's on Rogan, and Rogan says, Eddie Bravo called me. He said, did Bert ever lose anything? He said, no. And then Bert starts hysterically laughing. He goes, were you on with Shannon Sharp? And Shannon Sharp said, you lost everything and you just went along with it. And he was laughing hysterically. I didn't know what to do. But not knowing what to do and not wanting to embarrass somebody is way different from coming out with specific, a long story about how he got out of it and turned his life around, just making it up on the spot. That's just who Bert is. He's just a really prolific liar. And I can't imagine, like, if I'm interviewing you and saying, Jackie, there was a time when you lost everything. You were destitute. You're trying to get your career back. And you'd be like, what are you talking about? That never happened. Not saying, oh, yeah, well, this is exactly how I got out of it, and start making shit up on the spot.
No, you know, sometimes you feel more prolific than others. I don't know if you know the story of Keith Richards. I read in way back college, I think it was. I read in Playboy interview or one of those interviews, and with the Rolling Stones, and they said, yeah, when Keith Richards said, you know, when we were really in a bad shape and our alcoholism was really coming to such head, just go to Switzerland or Sweden, and they would take our blood out and wash our blood and then put it back in, so we'd like start from square one again. And I was a drunk. And I remember being so pissed. It's not fair that they get to start from square one and not be drunks. And I told that story so many times. And then in his book, he has a huge book he put out called, I think he called Life or something. And one of the things he said years ago, you get so sick of being interviewed and they ask the same questions. And sometimes you feel like having a little fun. You know, the British people say you feel like taking the piss, you know. And some guy asked me something and I just made up this whole story that we used to get a blood washed out and the thing went on and everybody bought that for years. And I'm like, you motherfucker, I was one of them. You know, I totally believe. And he was just bored. He was getting interviewed and he made up that story. You know,
yeah.
Fuck it. Why not? You know.
Well, that's the thing I'm thinking about this Shannon Sharpe thing with Bert. Some people who are not going to see the Rogan rebuttal of that where Bert is laughing like, I didn't know what to do. And are just going to see the Shannon Sharpe thing and have it in their mind forever that this is a true story. That I didn't know Bert lost everything and other people. That's how the internet fucks with people's brains and our minds in a big way.
But he's doing so well. He's doing so well. Now, who is Shannon Sharpe?
Shannon Sharpe was an ex-football player, a Hall of Fame football player, wide receiver, I think he was. But he
may have been tight end. I think it was a wide. His brother was a tight end, right? So he was a wide receiver.
I think Bob Nelson was a tight end, right?
I mean, Shannon Sharpe's brother played football.
Bob Nelson's bit about the football player. I was a tight end before I was a wide receiver. It was
San Francisco State.
Yeah. Epi Eppelman, which seems like he was making fun of Epi Epstein there. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Epi Epperman was absolutely Epi. Bob Woods used to do an impression of Epi because Epi was a big fat comic that died.
Right. I remember Bob Woods. Yeah.
You remember Epi was his manager for a little while, and Bob would pressure him all the time, and then Nelson just. Made it into a very funny character, Epi Epperman.
Was
funny,
Epi?
You know, it's just
Epi was your manager for a while too, no, John? Or am I just
no? Yeah. He was my manager for a while.
Wow, common threads here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the time he came up to me and he said he loved the band and everything, and then he says to me, he goes, I want to manage you, not your band. And
that was comfortable.
And I was playing with 3 other guys. And we were all friends, man. We were all really good friends. And individually we all sucked, but as a band we sounded tight. And Epi says to me, he goes, "Oh man, stick with me. You're gonna have a big house on the North Shore, and I don't know, you're going to be the next big thing." One of my biggest regrets was
not letting him fuck you in the ass.
That never works, man. It doesn't work.
Reminds me of Brett.
Somewhere.
What was that?
My friend Brett he opened for Louis Anderson for a long time. Louis Anderson took him on the road, and then Louis Anderson asked him to move it, and he didn't know what the invite was actually all about. Louis Anderson asked him to, you know what, you come stay with me while we're on the road, and basically he was asking him to lay on the couch face down, but he didn't know it at the time, and it's just what that could have done for your career. What?
No.
Yeah.
Take one for the team.
I was performing solo at Elizabethtown College a few years back, and this agent from North Carolina approached me and says, "I want you to tour with our group." They had a tour going on. And I said, "Let me talk to my fiance about it." As soon as the guy walks away, one of the members from the other band walks up to me and goes, "Did Kenneth ask you to tour with us?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Just so you know, he's going to want sexual favors."
Wow.
Wow.
That happened to a buddy of mine. He was in a band, and I think they want. Remember Star Search.
Yeah,
with Ed McMahon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won or came in second place at Star Search, and then they got involved with this manager, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he managed bands like Kiss and stuff, and invited the band up to his place and told my buddy, like, hey, put these on. It was like, well, what it came down to, he wanted to have sex with him. And my friend said, I'd rather fling burgers than have to do this shit.
Yeah,
that was that.
Somebody, the author we had on yesterday, she was talking about the rock scene and rock clubs of the 70s and stuff. And she said there was one particular agent that was like the gatekeeper of everything. I don't want to mention his name. And I'm like guessing. I'm thinking King Broder, is that who you're talking about? Who are we talking about here? But those were the days where there were like gatekeepers to every kind of thing, but you somehow got around that, right, John? With Epi, you got in with him, and then you were able to kind of get gigs based off of that, or am I just overstating that part of it?
Well, no, I mean, Epi really, I think he respected me as a songwriter, and he got the band a lot of gigs. We had some good gigs opening up for. We opened up for the Ramones and for Talking Heads and for Southside Johnny and for Rockpile, Nick Lowe, Dave Edmunds, Flo and Eddie. We had a good run.
See, now you mentioned all those names, and they're all like harder alternative type of things. And now I listen to the work you're doing now, and it actually says on YouTube that it's in the genre of country. I don't know if it's necessarily country, but of course, as you get older, you soften a little bit. But I always thought of you as like an alternative rock guy, classic rock guy. But now you're doing country music, according to YouTube. Yeah.
Well, I've always written everything, whatever comes out,
You got any rap classics?
Whatever comes out.
Any what?
Rap. You got any rap classics?
No, not yet.
Yeah. Hey, Jackie, you ever cross paths with Jeff Altman?
Of course.
Yeah. Oh.
Me and Jeff Altman, he was the comic and I hosted, what was it called? It was in Dallas, and it was Playboy. Was it Playmate of the Year? One of the big Playboy yearly events. And they flew me into Dallas and Jeff Altman, and I didn't know him. And we did the show. And afterwards he said, wow, I didn't expect you to be good. You were really great. And I said, well, that's very nice. And then we actually worked on a Rick Dees show years later at the Universal Amphitheater. Rick Dees used to do shows.
Wow.
And he fucked me, they fuck you over. It's just, you just can't. They flew me out. He gave me a price. And he said, I think it was like $1,000 a night or $2,000 a night, which wasn't crazy money, but it was a big deal to me to fly out to California. And I don't think I was on Stern full time yet. And it was the Universal Amphitheater. It was a big deal. And then when she gave me a check for I think it was $1,000. I said, it's supposed to be $1,000 a night. He said, no, it's $1,000 gig. And of course I didn't write it down. Of course I didn't have a contract. It was like
contracts, yeah.
You learn pretty quick not to trust anybody. It's trust. If you have a contract, then at least here, look at this. This is what you said.
Yeah, that doesn't even work.
I don't do gigs with texts or anything. At least an email, you at least have some kind of paper trail that they can ignore.
Right. Yeah.
That never gets old. That bullshit. Yeah.
We had a thing at my father's place. Yeah, the new one. The new one they opened up in Roslyn. They were just doing some TV show or something like that. So they wanted the Molotov cocktails to be on it. So we all had to sign all these release forms and stuff, and we signed a contract for how much money we were going to get paid for doing this. Went through the whole thing, and they were walking down the hall, and one of the Epi's guys says, "Oh, we owe you some money." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, we'll just mail you a check." never got it.
I'm at the point where that's every gig now. It used to be you'd get paid at the end of the night, but now everything is we invoice us and we'll pay it, post 30 days and that kind of stuff.
Okay,
the reason I brought up Altman,
even if it's a check. Go ahead.
Yeah. I've had Altman on a bunch of times, but it's been like 4 or 5 years now. But we have a common love of sleight of hand magic and all this stuff, and we've had some great conversations. But I hadn't reached out to him in a long time. And then the other day I said, I wonder what Jeff's up to. I'm going to reach out to him, send him an email, and ask if he'd come on the morning program. He's never been on the morning program. He's been on the afternoon and evening programs. And so I sent him an email. He called me back like 20 minutes later and left a voicemail, like a really long voicemail, and then called me back. I got caught up with a bunch of stuff, and there was some drama going on in the house. So the next day I called him, and he said, "Matt, I can't talk to you right now. I'm getting on a plane. Call me on the weekend." Okay. And then 5 minutes later, he's calling, and I pick up the phone, and he says, "Who's this?" I said, "You just called me. It's Matt." He goes, I said, "You must have butt dialed me." "Right, call me on the weekend." 10 minutes later, a call from him again. All day long, I'm getting butt calls from there. I like to tell
by that time, he could have actually had a conversation with you.
Yeah, right. We could have set something up, but it's funny. He's such a nice guy that he gets an email from me, calls me right back to, "Yeah, sure, I'll do anything." And it's like, wow, what a, because to me, he's he's on this list of great comedians that I hate to say grew up admiring, because I wasn't like a little kid. But the stories about the Comedy Store, are you aware of that whole Johnny Carson, Buddy Rich? Because Altman used to do a impression of Johnny Carson. Altman is on stage doing his impression of Johnny Carson while Carson is at the Buddy Rich show in the room next door, and Joey Gaynor goes over and grabs Carson and tells him, "Altman's doing you on the stage." And he goes walking up there, and he's just standing there looking at Altman doing him, and Altman's not noticing it for a while, and then he sees it, and he kind of lost it, like he was like couldn't say anything. Johnny came up on stage and did his monologue, killed the room. He did his monologue from the show that night, and it's just like, wow, this is a guy who has no business talking to me at all. And he called me right back. What a fucking great guy that is. And I just, was curious.
That's a nice,
huh?
That's a pretty, is that supposed to be a true story?
Yeah, it is a true story, because I've heard it from several different people who were there that night. Joey Gaynor, Jeff. I talked to a bunch of people who were there that night. It's been verified. If it's not a true story, everybody's telling the same exact story.
You mean like Zsa Zsa Gabor, Johnny Carson with the pussy and the move the cat?
That's not been verified. That's been debunked. It's a different debunked and verified are two.
I think they're the same thing.
No. Anyway, yeah, so that whole, I don't know, these like, wow.
No, I mean, that's a fun story. I can't see Carson getting up. I mean, I guess he had a nightclub act, because he didn't know his monologues. He read his monologues on the cards. He didn't know
that was exactly my first thought when Joey Gaynor first told me that story. It's like, how did he get through his monologue without cue cards? Come on, he was the guy who was reading cue cards all the time. I know,
but he did have, but he had a great Las Vegas act. So Joey Gaynor was in the movie I was in called Comedy's 30th Dozen. Did you know that?
Yeah. We talk about that.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. There's also another Carson story that Gaynor told, which I'm pretty sure is true as well, is when he first started working the door at the Comedy Store, he went to throw a stumbling drunk who was just walking down the aisle there. He went to throw him at it, and somebody said, "Wait, don't grab him! That's Johnny Carson!" And Carson turned around like, "What? What's going on? Like, you gonna throw Carson out?" That's a good way to start your career, right?
Jesus.
Like, all you guys have performed for money. So what's the weirdest thing you've been paid in instead of cash? Like, you do a show and they don't have cash, they have weed, or they don't have cash, they have coke. They don't have cash, but they got sex. What's the weirdest thing you guys have been paid in after a show?
I'll start with this. We got paid cash. The closing night at a club called Brewbeards that was in Lindenhurst, Long Island, in like 1978 or something. It was the closing night, and we got paid what we were supposed to get paid, but also we got to keep everything that was in the bar, and the guy gave us a quarter ounce of Coke. The owner a quarter ounce of Coke as a tip with the whole thing for the night. But I never would accept here's weed for it. No, none of that. Never ever. And in lieu of getting paid, no, I would sue people. I had sued club owners, gone to small claims court over that. You guys ever accept anything other than the cash or a check? No, neither one.
Yeah, no, I never got paid in anything weird, but. Although, I've done like I did a charity gig out in New Orleans, and they gave us like an ounce of pot and a little bit of Coke and some champagne, but that wasn't pay. That was just thank you. I mean, I've been stiff plenty of times, beat up. Ugh.
Let me just bring up Richard M. Dixon, because he would give you a burger and a beer, right? That's what you got paid at Richard M. Dixon's White House.
I never got a burger. He'd always give us burgers.
Whoa!
Somebody got your burgers, Jackie.
That was a damn good burger that night.
The night I met Bob Woods for the first time, he weighed about 300, and it was me and Woods and probably Nelson and Bartlett and Hawthorne and Minervini, however many of us. But Dixon would give us beer. I think he gave us $5 and free beer. And after the show, me and Woods were sitting at the bar, and we just met. So we're really enjoying getting to know each other and making each other laugh. So we're sitting there drunk, and we're putting down the beers. And the place is empty. And, Dixon was pissed because he wanted to go home. So all of a sudden, Dixon gets one of those big plastic boxes, the boxes, and starts going around the tables and picking up all the glasses. Wow. We're still sitting at the bar drinking. And I turned to Woods and I think I got to go home. I'm so drunk that the busboy is starting to look like Nixon too. And Wood said, "You're all right, pal." And we were best friends from that minute on. That was great.
Yeah, Johnny. We were talking about the '70s scene with the author yesterday, and we were talking about original rooms that would welcome original music. I know, like with the cocktails, you were playing covers mostly. You may be throwing in some originals here and there, but do you remember the days of original rooms, and would you ever get were those paying gigs? Because I remember we would sell our own tickets, and whatever we could sell on our own, we got to keep that money. But the money that was in it for original bands back in those days, we got ripped off pretty much. We
got paid. Yeah, I mean because that was a long time ago. But I remember there was this club in Freeport. Remember the Right Track Inn?
Right Track Inn, played there many times. Yeah.
Yeah, and my original band played there, and we got paid really well. And this was like in the late '70s.
Right.
In fact, we got paid more back then than we do now.
Probably.
Now, did you play there when it was three? Because we played there when it was one storefront, a single thin storefront that was a small place. And we packed the place every Saturday night. Like you couldn't move in there. They made so much money, then they decided to expand and they started working on the place. And for a month or so, we were literally playing in the bathroom because they had it framed out with the 2x4s where the bathroom was going to go.
Oh.
And we played standing there, and then they expanded it to 3 times the size. Wouldn't let us play there because we weren't big enough to play there. We helped make them expand it. But I remember Al and Mike were good friends. Yeah.
I remember playing there, and the place wasn't that small. Must have been after then.
Yeah, me too.
No,
it was definitely enlarged by the time I started playing there.
I just remember the owner of the place looked like Vincent Price. And he used to walk around the place collecting all the empty beer bottles.
Yeah. Funny, now that you mention it, that definitely rings a bell with me. I don't know if that was not a spoken thing, but I'm certain everybody noticed that. The guy had a very ghoulish,
right?
Yeah. But so I was just, because now there are, obviously the whole music world has changed in a lot of bit, but there's nothing there's nothing where you can book just an original music band.
Yeah. And one of the things about Epi opening up this new My Father's Place, I think, my band was like the first band to play there, with the cold open and stuff. And it's going to be only original music, blah, blah. It's all tribute bands. I don't think there's any original acts playing there at all.
Right. Tribute bands.
The truth of it is, you could play anywhere. Covers, if you're a tribute band, you play all originals. You could play anywhere if you bring in people. That's all
what
that
it comes down to.
Matters. Whether you're a comic, these comics that are on YouTube, the owners like the guy at the brokers, like Jimmy will say to me, these guys come here and they're not fun at all, but got 10 million followers on TikTok. I don't tell a comedian that because we want to say, fuck you, why are you hiring them?
Right.
Don't fucking hire them. Hire a comic that's in his time, has worked his ass off, And the people that do show up, they don't know from comedy or coming to a comedy club and laughing. It's just destroyed everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to take the club owner's side, but part of what killed the original music scene here on Long Island and in the New York metro area is kids who would promise to pack the room. They'd get a gig there, and they'd bring 5 of their family and friends, and that would be it. And then there would be always haggling over the money at the end of the night and all that stuff. That had a big part in killing the original music scene. And then when it went from 18 to 21, the drinking age and all that kind of stuff, and pictures on the ID so people couldn't fake it and get in. It killed all that scene. So I reminisce for those days. But
my son played in quite a few original bands, and they play in these clubs in the city, these showcases and stuff. And I always used to go see him to support him and everything, but it sucked. I mean, the band would have to roll in. They'd get 45 minutes to play. Their crowd would come in, and then it's get the fuck out of here, so the next band could come in, and who cares? You play it for your friends.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, I got Liberty DeVito from the Billy Joel Band coming on Wednesday. He's been on the program before. He's a friend, but he plays with a band called the Lords of 52nd Street. It's basically Billy Joel without Billy Joel. It's the Billy Joel Band with a fake Billy Joel in front of it. Right. But that's a tribute band that is at least it's the band without the lead guy. But it's
well, they're not calling themselves Billy Joel either.
Yeah.
They are so fucking good. I was working in Clearwater a couple months ago, and I always go down a day early because you can't trust the airlines, right? And so I look, and I'm working on Saturday, and on Friday night, the Lords of 52nd Street is playing in Clearwater. I couldn't believe it. So I went to see him, and they were shocked to see me. And I was so glad, they put me on the list. And it wasn't Richie Canada because he's sick again. I don't know. He's having medical issues. But for a while, he was back in the band. But it was just it was Liberty and Russell Javers. But they're so good. The songs are so good. It was really funny because I don't know if I told you this already. And Russell Javers goes, "Yeah, Richie is having some medical issues. He's not here." And by the way, we have rock and roll royalty here tonight, and it was Joey D. Now, do you guys know that name? That's from a long Joey D and the Starlighters.
Oh yeah, Peppermint Twist. The Peppermint Twist.
And he points him out, and he's like 85 years old, and the guy waves, and they said he's still working, he's still doing shows, and the guy playing saxophone with the Lords was Joey D's son.
Wow.
How wild is that? His name's like
Johnny,
Ziggy or something like
hold
that.
me to the fire here. Am I wrong in my memory that Jimi Hendrix once played guitar with Joey D and the Starlighters? Is that just me?
Absolutely. Jimi Hendrix, all the Rascals guys.
Wow.
Everybody played with him. You know,
wow.
Dino and Felix and Gene. I don't know about Eddie. I don't know. Yeah. And then Hendrix. So many people played with him. It was because they packed him in, so he could pay his musicians,
As far as Frankie Valli, he's still performing. He just doesn't know it.
Right.
Somebody's got to tell him about it.
That's sad. That is sad.
Is that sad? Oh, that's elder abuse, isn't it? Like,
yeah, last I think it was 2 years.
No.
Wait. Oh, we got a fight going.
Wait.
B.
Listen, a couple was it? I think it was last
year.
You're
1,000 years old. Go ahead.
Last year, I went to go see. I was in Atlantic City, and I went to go see the Happy Together tour, right? And poor Mark Volman, didn't know where he was. And it's like they just put him out on the stage because they had to call it the Turtles. And I wanted to cry. It was so fucking sad,
Yeah.
And, there comes a time when you got to stop. And I don't blame him. I mean,
no, but Mark was a very good friend of mine. And he lived to do that. And he loved doing that. It wasn't like they dragged him so they could make money. He wanted to do that till he dropped.
I hear what you're saying. That he loves doing that. But
I saw you were in his in his book.
This is gonna sound mean, but I promise you, it's not meant to be mean. You could stand him up in a nursing home and let him do that and tell him he's at Madison Square Garden or the Paramount or wherever, and he would think he was. So why not? You could have the best of both worlds. Let them have their moment, and still not like because it is painful if you're a fan of these people.
Mark,
well,
Mark wasn't that shot. He was in bad shape physically, but he knew what he was doing, and he still played games and tried to make light of what was going on. Valley's a different story. I think he might not know where he is.
Yeah,
but
I haven't seen that.
Do you guys do you know my story about Frankie Valli? Did I tell you times?
Well, no, let's hear it. Let me give it a B.
We went, especially after Church Boys came out, it was a whole rejuvenation of all characters. So Frankie Valli was doing a show at the Englewood Cliffs Arts Theater there, right next to the train station. And I don't know who the band was, but he was great, and my friend Sandy was managing some of the guys from the Jersey Boys, so we went to see Frankie, and he was great. This is 10 or 15 years ago, but he was already pretty shot. But it might have been 20. I was pretty recently off the Stern Show. So we went backstage to see Frankie and the band. And so many people back there were like, you know, musicians and show business people. So they all knew who I was. So they're all up and saying hello and blah, 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 and what's up and yak. And at some point, Frankie Valli came over and grabbed me and pulled me over in the corner. And he said, "Who the fuck are you?"
Well, that's
I said, honor. I was on the Howard Stern show, Frank. No, it was an honor. I said, Frankie, I was on a popular radio show, and a lot of these people know me. And he just smiled, you know. But I mean, this is I wasn't taking anything away from him, but here's these people flocking to this guy that he has no idea who the fuck he is, you know.
Yeah,
I was tickled.
Well, no, Glenn Campbell, he died from Alzheimer's, but up until like the last few months, he was still performing, and when he performed, that's when he was like at his best. You didn't see the Alzheimer's, but once you took away the guitar and took him off stage, the Alzheimer's kicked in. It's like, but
Mark had Lewy body disease, and my dad had that, and man, that was brutal. That was really brutal.
It's you know, not to get all too serious on this, but the fact that medicine, just modern medicine, has not figured out that there is something about, like Glenn Campbell, when he had advanced Alzheimer's, you put the guitar in his hand and he became Glenn Campbell again. Like there's something about that they're not doing enough investigation into, like how does that trigger the brain back into what seems like normal function again when you can do that. And if they can figure out that, there's possibly hope for people who have Alzheimer's or
not that I'm a doctor, but I have watched a lot of medical shows, and I think that in order for them to successfully do what you're saying, Matt, is they'd have to probably have the brain open so they can map it. Which means the skull is open.
The guitar with wires in your brain.
They have to be able to play guitar in a sterile environment while they map his brain, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, but they're actually doing that. They're actually doing that.
Wow.
They're putting notes in people's brains and seeing what's triggered by what. They literally are experiments like that. You know, people are awake and I don't know what makes them laugh or what, but it's ghoulish. You know, Glenn Campbell's daughter used to go on the road with them at the very end, and you know they would make light of it because he'd play a song and then he'd turn to the band and say, "All right, let's do Wichita Lineman," and his daughter would say, "Pop, we just did it. we just got done playing that."
We're in Patty Reagan territory here. So I saw Segovia at Westbury Music Fair when he was just about ready to die. And he had two like Playboy bunnies like escort him to the stage, sit him on a stool. He looked like a corpse already. They sit him on a stool. They go off stage and get the guitar, put the guitar in his hands, put his hands on the guitar in the right place. And then all of a sudden he came to life, and they played like 90-minute show flawlessly. And then they had to come out and take the guitar away and like walk him off again back to his casket. But
that's just wild, you know.
Yeah. I guess we're ready to wrap up. Just on the tribute thing here, it's amazing to me how many there's like certain tributes that are just killing it right now. The Stevie Nicks tributes, off the charts. Everybody's doing a Stevie Nicks tribute. Karen Carpenter. There are probably 100 Karen Carpenter shows. They sell out stadiums like Karen Carpenter never did. And all of a sudden, that music has become cool for a whole generation that never even... Yeah, and a generation that hated it. Right?
When they do the Karen Carpenter ones, do they have a woman playing the drums like she could, or
no? Generally, it's a woman out front playing Karen Carpenter singing. Yeah, if they were going to do it right.
Did you know that she was one of the best drummers in the fucking world?
Yeah,
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
There is
the best drummer in the band, or really good for a girl. I mean, literally one of the best drummers anywhere.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
crazy.
There's a video on my channel somewhere of her versus John Bonham, and all these people were like, "Oh, and she was like playing Bonham stuff like it was like all like easy for her, like yeah. And Bonham, I'm not taking anything away from John Bonham, phenomenal rock drummer, but she was classically trained. She could play jazz, she could play anything, and like she Buddy Rich quality drum. Nah, that's probably overstating it, but she was extremely good. Yeah, so.
Listen, Matt, and all you guys. Rulo, it's great to see you. I'm not checking out, but if all of a sudden I disappear, it's because I'm down to like 5% on my iPad. So if all of a sudden I disappear, I wasn't being rude. I just ran out of juice.
That's cool. We're about ready to wrap this up anyway. So you're the McGuire's is the next thing for you on March 6th, or do you have something in between here and then and now?
No, March 6th. McGuire's and yeah, you know, I'm holding out too much. You know, people ask me to do gigs, and you know, you don't want to keep reducing your price, but you know, like I'm not Jackie the Joke Man from the Howard Stern show more, and I got to get used to, you know, that I'm.
You lost everything, Jackie Martling. There was a time when you lost everything.
Yeah, and then there was the fire, and there was the fire and the whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I want to put this out there right now.
Somebody wrote that. Matt, somebody wrote one of the things on Twitter was the only way you can get people to read your jokes is to be in the Epstein files. Somebody wrote that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, just imagine, Jackie, all those jokes you sent out in your emails. Some FBI agent gets like 20 pages. Is like, okay, well at least I'm not looking at the pictures of the little girls. I can go home and tell my wife about this.
Yeah.
There was one email where I wrote back to confirm I was coming to dinner. I said, all right, we're confirmed. And when I send people emails, I always wind up putting jokes at the bottom. And they put at the bottom was the last joke that you should ever. Let me tell you this. A guy is a clown and he gets a job working at a kid's birthday party. So it's, you know, they're like 5-year-old kids and there's like 20 of them. And the clown comes out and says, all right, you kids, come on, everybody gather around. And he says, all right, guess what I got in my pocket? And one of the kids says, candy? He says, no, it's not candy. And the kid says, is it money, mister? He says, no, it's not money. And all the kids go, what is it? And the guy says, my cock. And the father's over there, and the father comes running over, you moron, what the hell are you doing? He said, 5-year-old kids, you're a pervert. And the guy said, no, listen, I work at night. I have a nightclub act too, and I'm a little hungover today, and I got mixed up. Please, let me keep going. I'm sorry, nothing like that will happen again. The father says, all right, but you better watch it, or else I'm going to call the cops. So the guy says, all right, kids, come on over. All right, try and guess what I got in my pocket. Because is it candy, mister? He says, nah, it's not candy. Is it money, mister? Nah, it's not money. And the kids go, well, what is it? And the guy looks over at the father and says, you better call the cops because it's my cock again. Well, of all the things to write to Jeffrey Epstein, and that's one of the Twitter things. That's one of the Twitter things somebody sent me.
We're going to get ready.
It's almost like I knew that he was a pervert. Yeah.
This will be the second time this week the cops are coming in to take me away while in the middle of a live podcast. So happened Wednesday night. Yeah, I know. I got to brag about this. The cops were here to come and get me during the middle of a podcast the other night. It was funny because even if I told them, go away, they were still in my living room listening to the show. And I was talking about Geese, the band who was on SNL, and they had this really, and the cop goes, "You talking about Geese?" I said, "Get the fuck out of here, about like so, get out." Like, what the fuck is going on?
What were they doing at your house?
Yeah.
My wife and I were having an argument, and for some reason, and whatever reason, because there was something I wrote All right, this is a downer. I wrote on Facebook about my son dying this week, and I was in a really emotional place. And and Nick DiPaolo, who has never spoken to me before on Facebook, he said, "Why are you sharing with this kind of stuff?" I said, "Well, literally, it's I'm looking. It's a cry for help. I'm asking my friends, people who know me, to kind of talk me off the ledge a little bit." My wife reads that and thinks, "Well, he's suicidal." I'm like, "No, that's just a matter of." It's just talk. I'm too much of a pussy to ever hurt myself. You know that. Everybody knows that. But she calls the cops and said, "I think he's suicidal." They show up here at 5 minutes to 8. I'm doing my Wednesday night show. They show up here. I'm about to go live, and I'm like, I'm about to do a podcast. Do I look like a guy who's gonna kill himself? I'm not. Believe me, I would never. I just too much of a pussy for that. And I'm sorry if that's belittling the whole idea of. But I really couldn't stand to hurt myself ever. I'm a pussy that way. But they wouldn't leave. They want to talk
is
to me.
That true?
Huh?
Did you really lose your son? Did you really lose your son?
Yes. Today is the 9th anniversary of his overdose. So,
but it didn't literally happen this week.
No, it happened. But the point was, every time it comes up to the first week of February, I get in this emotional state. And so I was posting that on Facebook. Right. And Nick DiPaolo picked a time to start a fight with me over that. It was like, you never talk. We never had 2 words together. Now you're going to, anyway. The cops wouldn't leave, so they sat there listening to the podcast from out there. I was like, at least take me away in cuffs so I can fucking get some ratings out of this, some publicity out of it.
Jesus Christ,
they wouldn't do it.
So. Jackie, I just learned today I learned today that you and I have something else in common. Your birthday is on February 14th. I was conceived on February 14th. What a small world.
Well, before we go, Jackie, you used to be a drinker.
Did your parents fuck that?
Yeah.
How do you know when you were? You're ridiculous.
Right.
No.
What about drinking?
I talked to my mother about it before she died, not after.
Yeah. Before we go, and this is we're going to wrap the program up here. But Jackie, I know you used to be a drinker. John, I know that you still drink bourbon occasionally because you mentioned it to me the other night.
Right. Good morning, Jack.
Did you guys ever hear of pouring alcohol in your ass to avoid your liver? Because this was what we were talking about.
No, I heard you talking about it earlier. No, I never heard of it.
It's not a thing, right? He made that up.
No, I didn't make it up.
I'm sure it's a thing, but
anything you want to get high from, you could get high quicker putting it in your ass. That's just
know that.
I never poured booze in my ass. No, but I know people do it. Or give themselves like a vodka enema. That was like a popular.
Yeah, but I like the taste of bourbon, and
So don't you want to share it with your ass, John?
Well,
this is so good to keep it for my mouth. I'm not sharing it with my ass.
Another B here. This is going to be a good clip. But wrapping this whole thing up, I'm going to put that theory to the test.
That's a class. Hold on. That's a class joke where the guy says, "Doc, I can't sleep, but I really can't take pills. What can I do?" And the doc says, "No problem. I just put a sleeping pill in a suppository, and that way you can fall asleep with a sleeping pill without having to take a pill." And then the guy came back to the doctor, and the doctor said, "How'd it work?" He said, "It worked too well. I woke up my finger in my asshole."
That would be the perfect place to end this. But I just want to let people know right after the program, and which is going to be in a minute here, I'm going to put Jackie's theory to the test that anything you want to get high on, you can get high quicker by putting it in your ass. I'm going to roll a joint and light it. And stick it in my ass.
Now, Matt, if you do that, you got to light it first. Good. Just so you know, you got to light it first.
All right. I'll take that under advisement. Thank you very much. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys.
You put cocaine on a girl, right? Haven't you ever put cocaine on a girl
No, I never did. Listen. I definitely had some coke in my life, but I never experimented with that. To me, it was a sex killer. Like, forget about it. If you want to get it up here, do some cocaine. You want to feel nut. So no, cocaine was never involved.
No, that's not a sex drug. Yeah. All right, John Rullo, it's terrific to see you.
Same here, Jackie.
This summer, I'm going to get a gig somewhere local in Nassau County, and I want both you guys to come and sit in and do at least one song.
Which two? There's three of us here. Which two?
Come to my
no, not you.
Why all three of us go?
Is this another one of your white-only parties?
It's a Long Island thing.
Oh.
Nobody from West.
They're all white-only. They're all white-only parties.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now. Have a great day.
Okay, take it.
Bye, kids.
All around the world.
me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.